You're good to go. Well, first of all, thank you everyone for joining. I hope that you're not going to be sick of me because this is the second time that some of you are seeing me today, but this is the last time, I promise. So today we have a very interesting set of panelists here with us. We're going to talk about value behind the cryptoanalytics. For those who did not listen to my speech, my name is Anna Maria. I've been in a fraud payments risk for the last 8 to 9 years, and basically I work as a head of FinCrime at MoonPay now, basically focusing on fraud and chargebacks and AML issues. And I would like to give the opportunity to our panelists to introduce themselves, maybe 1 or 2 sentences. What are you guys mainly focusing on right now, and where are you coming from today?
Okay, thank you very much, Anna. My name is Johannes Pfefferer, and I have a background in formal modeling, a PhD in that area, and then I founded a cryptoanalytics startup early in 2016. After that, I founded a few other ones, but that's basically how I think I can contribute here. I had some ideas why I wanted to do that at the time, and yeah, maybe I can share some of that motivation with you.
Okay, hello, my name is Srdjan Vukmirovic, and I'm a professor at University of Novi Sad, Technical Sciences. I'm also the founder and CEO of Eternal, the company that created blockchain protocol level products in Polygon and Cosmos ecosystem.
My name is John. I guess I saw some of you this morning. I used to work at Consensus and Polygon, and now I'm running a venture fund, including investing in some of the things we might be talking about today.
Thank you. Okay, to kick this off, I want to hear from you guys, and I guess the audience is interested as well in this. What is the actual value of cryptoanalytics? What is the value that cryptoanalytics brings? And we can maybe start from John. Try to summarize it for the audience. What is the actual value?
Well, I think the closer you can stay to objective reality, the better off you are. So the extent to which you have a very good understanding of what's going on, particularly across, a shared view of reality in a Byzantine environment where there's, you're in an adversarial system, to say the least. So the better you can understand reality objectively, the better off you're going to be. So I think that's probably, in my mind, why it's important to have good analytics.
Would you guys like to add something here?
Yeah, I think I will refer back to why I created Lethio, that blockchain analytics startup in 2016, and that was because we had now had this blockchain, which is basically just a database of transactions. And now, in comparison to the financial system, this data is available to everyone. It's not siloed at all. It is accessible. And that brought me to 3 promises, actually, that I wanted to fulfill, right? To democratize the access. So it's not just some companies who can know everything about you and you cannot. But if the tools are actually available, everyone can have the same power. Right? That's promise number 1. It's sovereignty about what is happening in the financial system, in the blockchain financial system. And I think I will reduce this to 2 promises. One is new, and that is about creating actual data about problems like scams and frauds and hacks on chain, because once you have this in a public way, compared to the original financial system, you can actually train AIs to work with this. And this has never been possible before to this extent, because now all data is public. That's the second promise of cryptoanalytics, in my view. One is targeted to the individual user and empowering him, and the other one is to AI.
Yeah. So why analytics is so important? The blockchain industry is very diverse. There are a lot of new companies almost every day. And as we heard this morning, there are a lot of frauds. So you have to rely on some data. It's very important to choose which data to trust and how you can check that this data is real and good for you, so the That's why analytics is very important, but at the end it comes back to what you trust in. You have to do your own due diligence based on this data to choose where to invest or where to put your time and effort.
So two things that you kind of both touched on, it's fraud, right? And how cryptoanalytics helps in fraud prevention. Can someone give a little bit more details to the audience about how actually cryptoanalytics can help there?
Okay, I think I can take that. So there are, of course, very different types of fraud. But the unique situation that we have now is that the data set of all transactions, all value transfers are actually there. And there's no doubt about it. It's clean data. It's data that where something that is on the chain and visible there as a transaction has actually happened, right? So the data is pseudonymous, so we don't know the names behind it, but we can detect patterns. We see what comes from a hack. We see if something is out of the ordinary. And by looking at these patterns and comparing them to known fraud patterns, it is actually possible to find fraud. So is that the direction you wanted to go? Like, It is possible to, sometimes with de-anonymizing, but also without de-anonymizing users, to detect potentially fraudulent behavior much better than on most of the financial data that we had so far. So actually, I think it's safer than the existing financial system, potentially.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to hear John on this as well.
Yeah, I would also say, to Johannes's point, in fact, the criminality is detected much faster, and prosecution and resolution of criminal behavior and trials and et cetera. I mean, look at the things that happen in our industry that are very high profile. If you look at Sam Bankman-Fried, for example, he was arrested. This is like in 1 year. It happened in 1 year. And then you contrast that to Bernie Madoff, which was like many decades, and so on. And so the speed at which you get caught engaging, in criminal activity using the blockchain, it's very, very fast. And I think, and so justice happens very quickly, precisely because, to Johannes's point, you have a very clear understanding of what's going on. It's very easy to detect.
I could even add, that's a brilliant point. And there was this one incident in the media just recently that the Hamas received a lot of financing through blockchain. And then it turns out, why do we know that? Because it is transparently visible on blockchain, right? And that's also why the Secret Service who tipped that off knew about it. And that's why also the Hamas said, stop, don't give us money through blockchain anymore, it's too risky. Because it actually is, right? It is more risky than going through any of the established money laundering channels. It is, because it will never go away. Any trace over there, it could kill you in 10 years, because then the additional information is available and the trace never goes away. So it is, I think people will start to understand that it is more risky to do shady stuff on chain than it is to do it off chain. So yeah, we're not there yet, but it's going in this direction with the current technology. Yeah? There are some ways of privacy enabling chains. Those are a different beast. But right now the situation is like this.
Okay, so now you kind of raised a couple of very positive things about cryptoanalytics. Now I want to hear about the challenges. Who would like to go first? Or we need to be at school like you go first.
So challenges, of course, first there is a lot of data. The data are very diverse, so there are almost every day new blockchain technology, so the data is becoming bigger and bigger. It makes it more difficult to analyze. The type of data is also growing every day. So there are challenges, but we, as we see here, have startups, have companies that are tackling that. The good thing about it, I will go back to good thing, is that at the end, hardware is getting better. Our output of our analytics engines are getting better, so we get a lot of more new information that give us opportunities to invest or to make smart decisions in our.
So you were now just mentioning something related to my second question, and I want to move a little bit away from fraud and risk. It's about business, right? You mentioned business, decisions. How can cryptoanalytics help for the investors, and let's say, future startup founders.
John will speak about investors, but if you have a much bigger data set with the diverse attributes and you have a lot of it, then you can make a business on top of it. I really don't see a lot of businesses apart from cryptocurrencies moving money around. But I expect in the next wave there will be a different kind of businesses that really use this data to create new kind of industries, of niche products, not just cryptocurrencies. And that cannot be done without good information and good stable basis of the information.
John, do you want to add something?
Yeah, well, I would say it's sort of like suddenly, then all at once. And so suddenly and then all at once. It's kind of like, I think, the direction this is going in, and maybe Johannes a little bit later can talk about some of the stuff he's building, but once you integrate it all, okay, Microsoft calls it these co-pilots. But basically, the idea is that, especially, let's say, in the context of wallets, I think within a year, and this is what Johannes said, I completely agree with him. Within a year, every single blockchain wallet will be totally different than it is today, and I actually think that might happen even sooner. And so, in other words, when you harness the power of all the data that's available and apply a lot of the machine learning that's happening, you know, the stuff with the LLMs, etc. It's table stakes. It changes everything radically, immediately, and everybody else has to change. So from an investment standpoint, I can tell you, I'll just be honest, I mean, at Consensus, we, when I was there, we were developing a data analytics platform called Alethio, actually Johannes' project, and it's like, we just didn't see, it was a human error. We didn't have the foresight and the fortitude to see that, okay, maybe for the first few years, there's nothing really, or it's seemingly nothing happening, but then all at once, everything changes tremendously. And then it's table stakes after that. Like, it will never go back to the way it was before. And so, to profoundly change an ecosystem like that is special. And I think the opportunity is enormous. So it's a question of like being able to understand that point.
Does anyone want to add anything?
Of course, I couldn't agree more with what John said. Cryptoanalytics actually has a bad reputation, is what I think. The reputation is you guys who do cryptoanalytics are trying to uncover our anonymity. You are trying to, you are bad for the system, for the space. But I think the opposite is true. Actually, cryptoanalytics is going to save the space, because while the system itself is trustless, business never is trustless, right? So cryptoanalytics will actually bring the trust back into a trustless system, because trustlessness and all the data on chain doesn't help you at all if you don't understand it. Why can you trust in a system like that is only because you know what happened, and to know what happened, you need cryptoanalytics. There's no way around that. And also, hey, why, if you have an open system, why can you complain about people using the data? They will always use it. It's just in vain to say cryptoanalytics those are the bad guys. No, they are just doing what is obviously necessary to be done on an open data set. Analyze it, mine it, understand it. So yeah, I'm just defending cryptoanalytics here a little bit from its bad reputation. It's going to save the space, not kill it.
Thank you for that. That's actually leading to my next question, which I want to have it, answered yes or no. Do you think that cryptoanalytics actually has a reputation problem, and how you think you can solve it?
Yes, I already gave the answer. Now you guys.
Yeah, for me, I don't think that there is a problem of reputation. It's just problem. It is normal evolution. So at the beginning, there was a little data, and you could have a business on arbitrage boats that basically are stupid things like manually trading from one crypto exchange to another. Today, you cannot do that, and it's good because there will be a new business opportunities with data analytics. So it is normal evolution. We can hate, most probably dinosaurs hate evolution, but in order to survive, you have to change. Now the blockchain is big, you have a lot of data, and you cannot manually outdo the AI anymore. So you must use data, you use algorithms in order to get to the next business stage or die. You cannot do arbitrage trading in 2024. It is too late. So it's normal way how the things evolve, and we either be in this train or be there.
Yeah, I would say analytics up to now probably is associated with something like Chainalysis. It's a great company, very nice people, but you know, analyzing the blockchain in order to perform some compliance function or service. Whereas I think the point, maybe I'm not very good at making this point, but it's shifting to your product development is, it's sort of like you're doing analytics so it can inform your product development. And your product development will happen tremendously fast. And the pivots that will result or emerge as a result will be very violent, like major businesses, because they become very good data companies and because they integrate AI into blockchain in the ways that, for example, Johannes is doing, suddenly their entire business model turns very quickly and never goes back. And that's what I mean, like a little, you know, it's kind of like a little bit, and then suddenly all at once. That's, I think, what we're on the cusp of.
Thank you. Now I'm going to switch back to another kind of a topic which I think it's kind of interesting to the audience as well. How can organizations, companies, right, use cryptoanalytics to stand out in the competitive market? What are the 3 ways you would kind of list for that? And maybe we go with John.
Well, certainly in terms of improving your content. So Kaiko is a very good example of that. Kaiko, data analytics company run by Srdjan, very good friend of mine. She's a CEO in Paris. Anyway, wonderful lady. They produce spectacular content, and that's part of their brand. And so I think, you know, just giving people in your community the opportunity to interact with you, not like you post, oh, we have a new partnership with Nike or something stupid like that. Nobody cares about that. But more like, you know, here's some, you know, useful information about the state of whatever, and here's some deep insights. So from that standpoint, I think it's a tremendous asset to improving and helping guide your content, the way you manage your community.
How it will impact it basically depends on what your business, what you're doing. For example, we are doing the protocol level, and it will not change our way of doing things very much. But if you're an investor, or you want to have much more detailed and precise and the real-time data, that's also very big problem. We don't have real-time data usually. This analytics is always lagging a little bit. That's one thing. And I think, as I said, that a whole new industry or a lot of new products will be created based on data analytics. So it's not just that it will evolve, but it will spread to totally new branch of industry. So that is very important to know. And I think in next year, half of the companies or something like that will be based on data from data analytics.
This question gives me the opportunity to plug in what I'm currently working on, because I think the main problem here is that those who make decisions and those who actually act on chain, they cannot use the results from blockchain analytics in their decisions because it's not accessible to them. You cannot always go to your data science department and have a report made before you make a decision. So I think that assistants, very similar to GPT-4, have a much better way of using the results from blockchain analytics and putting them in a giving them back to you in a way that you can understand them and act upon them. I think this is going to be the key on how to bring the results from blockchain analytics into business. And I only have this one. I don't have 3, as you asked. Sorry about that. But
it's okay.
I think this is the one that is key. Because if you can have maybe you have seen that disparity between all the cool stuff that data analysts do in their department, but it never reaches the business decisions. And why is that the case? Because the business people don't have time to understand all this. But now we have technology that can actually bring it to them in a very, very good way. So yeah, that's what I'm building. So I hope that's the right approach.
Cool. Just for my personal curiosity, how many people in this room are actually using ChatGPT for? Yes, that's literally everyone. That's great. Yeah, imagine if we were talking about this 5 years ago. Cool. Well, I want to hear now more from the kind of like learning opportunities over the cryptoanalytics. Where would you guide the audience to go to get some information, to get more knowledge about what is cryptoanalytics, how can it help, except ChatGPT, right? Something kind of like, tangible, trustful, any books, any courses, anything that you would recommend? Up to you.
All right, so I can tell you how I did it, right? And I was a data scientist by trade at university. It was part of my PhD program, and what I loved is that I just could have this huge amount of data. So if you are into data science at all, the step to get to cryptoanalytics is really not that far, because all you do is you download that big blob of blockchain data, and then you will immediately get inspired by it, because these transactions are just so awesome, right? And they are in a great format, and then you try to annotate them and decode them, and then you immediately, like, I would say, go the playing route. If you are a data scientist anyway, you know how to learn, right? That's your trade. You learn new stuff all day, but just go that one step more and look at blockchain data. It will inspire you. It's the greatest data set, one of the greatest data sets I've ever seen. So it's just so much fun, and the fun will lead you where you need to go.
Well, I would say that's a great approach. It's very inspiring. Maybe from an investor standpoint, I'll ask this question. It's like you said, Anna, who's using ChatGPT? Everybody raise their hand. My question would be, who owns Microsoft stock in this room? Okay, so it's kind of like, I would say that incentives really matter, and so the extent to which you put yourself in a position where you have exposure to the best of your ability to this stuff will help encourage you to use it. I mean, it's kind of like the last year or so, the stock market in America has been absolutely spectacular, and really it's just kind of like a small number of stocks, and really it's all the AI companies. And so, the more you start using this stuff, I think it's also really interesting and important to ask yourself, well, how do I get exposure? Because it's kind of a positive feedback loop, whether you're using it in your business or in your personal life, to then also have a piece of ownership as well. I think that's a really good way to get yourself more involved with incentives.
I can offer tons of books on scientific level to algorithms from mathematics and cryptography up to the chain development. But what I think is missing, and I hope that will become available very soon, is for these books for general public, for people not just in this room but outside of this room, how they can use it. It's still very scarce. So I hope that somebody will collect it in the book and give it as a source of knowledge, because currently it's all over the place, and it's not easy to really find the respective data or source of knowledge.
Cool. And I guess there's few companies, merchants here as well. What would you say that would be like top things to look for when you're looking for a cryptoanalytics tool? Something that you would recommend to keep an eye of how to, there's plenty of them now, right? I mean, plenty. As we speak, there is probably more of them going live. So how would you, say to find the right one, what to look for, except the pricing? And no sales pitches here, please.
Well, I think there's some fundamental first principles here. So sort of obviously open data, unconstrained ownership of data, a team that is forthright, committed, and dedicated, and those would be kind of the first principles, and then and that's really what I'd be looking for. We used to have such a team, used to be called the Lethio, composed of great people doing a great job. But anyway, those are the kind of basic things I look for.
Do you want to add something here?
The data set is public, right? So for Bitcoin and Ethereum, you can go to, for example, Google BigQuery, and you can MySQL the hell out of it, right? It's you can get all transactions, all interactions. You can just, this is a data science conference, so I'm just telling you the data is really there. You can run big data queries on it and get all the data you want from it, right? And company-wise, I really like Dune. Look at it. It's not a sales pitch. It's just what Alethio could have become if there had been more conviction in it. And it allows you to query the data through SQL, and then you can do whatever you do as data scientists, train a machine learning model, or just do some inference on the data. It's your choice. You are the data scientists, or have the companies who can do that. But it's all there. Just use it. It's going to be good.
Thank you for that. Okay, so as we're near the clock, I want to hear some final thoughts that you would like to share with the audience, and it can be anything, related to anything with cryptoanalytics.
I will start with my experience in Lux, since we are a protocol development company. In last 6 months, 3 out of 4 questions for us was, can you create AI tool for blockchain? So it is, and as John said, the fastest growing startups in the industry are from AI. We have some component of the AI. It is maybe part of the hype around ChatGPT, but definitely now we finally have enough data. The data are almost clear. So I'm quite convinced that in the next year or so, the most value will be in the AI and data analytics in blockchain. So you're in the right place, and you should start or join our company.
John?
Well, I mean, you know, I'll probably just add some low IQ thinking here, but it's sort of like we are on the verge of the Bitcoin halving. That's next May. The supply will be reduced. At the same time, you know, there's tremendous advancements happening all the time. I don't think that your co-pilot autonomous agents, which are coming, and Microsoft tells us they're coming, and I believe them, I don't think they're going to want a bank account or dinars or dollars for that matter. I think they're going to want Bitcoin. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's important to consider your own self-interest as well, and to not only have a curiosity in this stuff and develop and participate in the ecosystem, but you should also have exposure to the thing that you have conviction in, because when it happens, it's very violent, it's very fast, and suddenly everything changes. And so, you know, carefully think about what you're doing. And like I said, when I started using ChatGPT, I was like, you know, I use Anthropic a lot, I use Claude AI, etc. But it just dawned on me, it's like, I should start buying Microsoft and Facebook and Google stock. Not just, it's not even like I'm a genius or anything, I'm far from that. It's just like, it just dawned on me, like, these are all the AI companies. And of course, everything is up like 300% this year. So you can participate in a material way with your vested self-interest, benefiting as this ecosystem develops. And I think trying to position yourself for that is very important, in addition to being a purist like Johannes, for example, and really doing data science because you love data science. But it's also important, I think, to maximally pursue your self-interest, especially right before the Bitcoin halving. So that's my take.
And I will take the complete other side, right? This is the individual benefit, and I would say take the societal benefit. I think you should look out for cryptoanalytics, which is the topic of this panel, to actually deliver on its promises. Right? That's what I hope for. That we can prove that crypto can be the least scammy place you can go, not the most scammy place we can go. That's where I want this to head, and I'm going to work to bring this to bring the power of knowing what's happening, of understanding things to the people. That's my mission, and that's, I think, what everyone should be looking out for.
Thank you. Well, I'm super happy that we have passionate people that are working on this. Otherwise, it wouldn't really make sense and it wouldn't be successful. one thing that I would just raise, I think adaptation comes with adoption, and then you get the knowledge, and then knowledge is expensive when you sell it. And the faster you get in, you're going to be more successful, one of the first ones. So I'm going to open up the questions now. If anyone has any for our 3 wonderful panelists, I'm sure they're going to be happy to answer them. Seems like we have no questions. Well, that's... Oh, we have one. Oh, it's been a long day. Yeah, I know, yeah. Everyone is getting ready for Dva Jelena. I was there yesterday, as I mentioned.
I have one question regarding cryptoanalytics. Of course, I joined the panel very late, so I'm sorry. Missed a lot, of course. But crypto, most people think of crypto in cryptocurrencies and market data, right? And of course, you have lots of market data there. I mean, everybody can access any API from any exchange, download lots of data, analyze that. But data as such, and analytics as such, it has no, so what's the value of it? So what I was just missing right now, I would just join, is where do you see the actual value in it? Why I'm asking is, I have some background also in trading and high frequency trading, and also in typical asset classes, you have lots of data around. And of course, we've tried all of the coolest AI models in the world, but that doesn't mean that you can separate signal from the noise. And it doesn't mean that the analytics and the models as such, even combined with such a lot of data, have great value. So where do you think, in terms of cryptoanalytics, lies most value for data scientists?
Who wants to take this?
Yeah. So for me, the most value lies in protecting regular users. Traders or users that are deep into it, they take more responsibility. But I think what is one of the major hurdles in blockchain adoption is exactly this notion of that you cannot make use of the data, but it is possible to protect users from losing money. You cannot beat the market. You're right. No AI model has so far been able to be much better than just regular traders. But what they are actually good at is getting an intuition about if someone is doing something stupid or not. And I want to bring that to the people. And fraud detection, scam detection, and not only this detection, but also explaining it to the user in a way that they can understand and make an informed decision. Because my brother is not going to make an API call to find out whether this is a scam or not. I have to deliver it to him in a different way, right? So, yeah. So for me, the key really lies in bringing what you can gain, what you can understand from cryptoanalytics to the user in a way that would impact their behavior.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I would just echo that. There's a, I think the latest figure was like even just inputting the wrong address, well, it's something like $4.5 billion, of lost funds up to this point. But then beyond that, it's kind of like, especially new entrants who come into this ecosystem, and have a false sense of reality that's conveyed to them by some malicious actor. That's like a $20 billion fraud at this point. So the size of the and scope of like what we can achieve here in terms of like protecting users is starting to become quite a significant like nominal figure, and it's worth, to Johannes's point, prioritizing that for sure.
Do we have any more questions?
Thank you. Do you think there is a danger in having all transactions public? For example, imagine I'm super rich and everybody can see how much money I have. Wouldn't that attract thieves, and I don't know, any other kind of danger?
Excuse me. Some would argue that, for example, Vitalik is extremely high profile and his money is visible for all to see. That makes him sort of like the worst target because it's kind of like there's a lot of attention and it's very easy to see who owns that money in his case. And so it's not necessarily clear to me that using something like ENS and publicly revealing your identity puts you in more danger. Maybe it does, I don't know. I would say, and kind of Johannes was talking about this earlier, but the reality is this pseudo-anonymity is like very temporary because we're pretty close to having privacy on chain, I think. And then we enter into a whole new world where, your AI trading and pumping your favorite new meme stocks 20,000% without anyone knowing anything will be extremely weird. But I think it's a very temporary problem that will probably not persist for much longer, frankly.
Anything else? Anyone has any more comments, questions? It doesn't need to be a question, it can also be a comment. Okay, no, well, thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you for our lovely panelists. I'm sure, as I said, that each one of them will take any additional questions. I almost said offline. I work remotely, so I'm always saying like, let's take it offline, but now we're in person. So yeah, let's take it on chain. But yeah, thank you for today, and we'll see you on the next session.
Thank you.